He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Wednesdays quite often are viewed as the day to get you over the hump, right? And downhill toward the weekend. But I'll tell you what, with the crescendo of what's to come this week, the start of the college football season, it still feels like a buildup, and that is just fine with me. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. My name is Craig Way. So glad to have you with us. We take you each and every weekday afternoon, Monday through Friday, 2 p.m. to 5 a.m. And glad to have the support crew along. Of course, Cameron D. Parker, the D on the birth certificate, stands for Dallas, as in his favorite pro football team that he sometimes comes to terms with and is unhappy with. But Cam, were you pleased with Brian Schottenheimer's comments yesterday? Schotty saying, his conversation with Micah Parsons about him laying out on the table there and just kind of staring up at the ceiling of Jerry World during the Cowboys' final preseason game. He said, that's something we had a long conversation about it. We'll keep it inside here.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, as a head coach, you hope he would say something to Micah Parsons, and he's just kind of hanging around there. And obviously, it's a preseason game, so if Micah was signed, I don't think it would have been a story. I think it just would have been, look at Micah Parsons. Look how, unmeaningful these preseason games are. He's taking a nap, but because he's unsigned, it's more of a bad look on him. But this whole offseason, just the latest black mark on the Cowboys front office and how they handle these negotiations and what's happening. So, but Schottenheimer is convinced, Dak Prescott is convinced that Micah Parsons will be suiting up in almost 8 days when the Cowboys open their season up against the defending world champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, in a game that I do not think will be close whatsoever. But, Micah, he missed, I think, the open part of practice, and apparently, he's getting a second look at a back injury. That's a little scary. Now, maybe that's coming from his team and saying like, oh, he's injured, all this stuff. But at the same time, if you're about to lock up your all-pro defensive linebacker, and he's got a little bit of a back issue before the season starts, the whole thing, Craig, just not making me feel good at all about the Cowboys going into week one.
I thought it was kind of weird, too. I think you just brought it up, that Micah Parsons was complaining about his back, and here's a guy trying to get a new contract with a year to go on the agreement. The Cowboys, for their part, so they've looked at him. They've done MRIs, they've done stuff. They don't see anything. So I thought that was a little bit odd, a little bit strange there. So that's one thing. Of course, reveling in the Cowboys' misfortune is our man on the board. That would be Jake Herman, who is lifelong. First, it was Washington Redskins, then it was Washington Football Team, then it's currently Washington Commanders. But did it used to give you great pleasure to see the Cowboys struggle and stumble the way they have over the past 3 decades in various forms?
What's the old saying? Misery loves company. And Redskin fans, now Commander fans, have never really been in a position to brag over my lifetime, at least, the past 25 years or so, a.k.a. the Dan Snyder era. So misery loved company at times, seeing the Cowboys get the football pulled away Charlie Brown style, but especially, Craig, in the last 24 hours when the Commanders got their star wide receiver, who is Terry McLaurin, to end his hold in, and now seeing these headlines come out of Dallas.
Yeah.
I didn't know the Commanders even had fans, Craig.
Hey-o. Hey, they've had this. What is the active string of sellouts still intact for Washington? I know they quite often did not play in front of full houses there, what used to be called FedEx Field. What's it called now? That Northwest something?
Northwest Stadium.
Northwest Stadium. Because Washington, as we know, is in the northwestern part of the United States, right? Anyway, but they had this long string, I think going back to 1966, of consecutive sellouts at old RFK Stadium. Back then it was actually DC Stadium until RFK was assassinated. Then it became RFK Stadium, which they're finally they're tearing down. That's where they're going to build the new stadium for the Commanders, isn't it? On the old grounds of where RFK Stadium once stood?
Yeah, it comes with a whole project for the surrounding area as well. There's going to be a real transformation down there in the area where RFK Stadium used to be. And there was a big political battle to get that pushed through, which the Harris ownership group recently seems to have won.
Okay. All right. My most vivid memories of RFK Stadium, because I'd only been there 3 or 4 times, and every time it was to call play-by-play of Major League Soccer when I was doing Dallas. Back then they were the Dallas Burn, they're FC Dallas now. And where they put us for the broadcast was actually outside in the upper deck, not far up in the upper deck. So we had a good vantage point, but it was in kind of a crow's nest type thing, or I should say a pigeon's nest, because there was pigeon poop everywhere. You had to dodge it and make sure you didn't get hit by flying droppings while calling a soccer match. But anyway, so Cowboys and Commanders continue going through there. But you have to be excited. I mean, they reached the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1991? I think it was.
It was a season beyond, I think, what any of the fans expected. By the way, Craig, that sellout streak did end back in week 2 of 2018. It was a 50-year sellout streak.
Yeah. I knew they had that long. Okay, so that streak ended. And they probably now there's all new excitement with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders reaching the NFC Championship round a year ago. So there's some real excitement there, right?
There is definitely some smoke.
And the thing that you two guys can share is the universal hatred of all things Philadelphia, right? The Philadelphia Eagles, right? The Eagles took out the Commanders in the NFC Championship game. They seem to annually take out the Cowboys in one respect or another, that sort of thing, right? I mean, where do you stand with the Eagles as opposed to Cam used to say, didn't you used to say that the team you hated most out of the division was the Giants?
Still is.
And the reason for that is?
Well, Eli Manning and the Giants owned Dallas. The first ever game at AT&T Stadium was Eli Manning, and I don't know if it was Thursday Night Football or Sunday Night Football, but I do remember Eli Manning took the Cowboys defense to the woodshed. So, now, of course, with Arch, I like the Manning family just a little bit more.
Okay.
But for me growing up, it was always the Giants, dominating the Cowboys. And, of course, the 2 Super Bowl victories over New England, Philadelphia. They had some good moments with McNabb and Reed, but for the most part, they weren't doing anything. The Redskins were struggling. So it was always the Giants at the top of the NFC East for me when I was growing up.
Correct me if I'm wrong. One of those 2 Giant Super Bowls, in fact, the first one in 2007 was kickstarted by that comeback that the Giants had to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs, if I remember correctly. And they went on from there and then ended the 18-0 start of the New England Patriots in the Super Bowl. But it was like a lofted pass that Manning had on 4th down. It kept the drive alive. And then they went on and won that game.
One of those patented Eli Manning flutter balls it's in the air for way too long. You're like, it's going to be intercepted, right? And somehow ends up, finding the hands of one of his receivers. So if you're a Patriots fan, that was David Tyree. Odell Beckham Jr., of course, his most famous catch came against the Cowboys in a game that the Dallas did win, by the way, at MetLife Field. But yeah, just one of those typical Eli Manning Giants wins.
And then, of course, he hit Plexico Burress for the game-winning touchdown against the Patriots there.
Hit Mario Manningham down the sideline in the 2nd Super Bowl win. Yeah, there's all kinds of great catches with Eli Manning and New York Giants receivers.
There you go. So the Giants were the bugaboo for Cam. What about for you, Jake, as growing up as a Washington fan? Who was the division opponent that got your goat more than anybody else?
I think it was Philadelphia. And here's why. The Redskins, even if they were favored over Philadelphia one particular year, have always struggled to win in Philadelphia. It just seems those are the games that bring out the worst in Washington football, being in that atmosphere. And when Jaden Daniels went to Philadelphia, played the way he did this season, not in the NFC Championship game, but in the regular season matchup, that was when I think we all knew as Washington fans, okay, he has it.
My wife still thinks they should still be the Washington football team. She's on board with that. She likes the name Washington football team. But in any event, okay, here's what we have coming up on the program this afternoon. We're going to hear from Michael Taaffe, Longhorns safety, coming up here in just a few moments. We're going to hear from him. We do have Inconceivable coming up, which includes the fast food, junk food update. But I also have to get Cameron's thoughts on the announcement that came down today. The Ryder Cup team has been announced. And there's a lot of folks who are puzzled, some downright unhappy with one specific selection by the captain. So we'll get to that. Also, we're going to hear from Tre Wisner coming up in the 3 o'clock hour of the program. And in the 4 o'clock hour, Arch Manning and Ethan Burke. So there's plenty of Longhorn conversation to get to, and there's some other topics that we'll get to as well. As always, we're happy to have you join us via the text line. You text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. So you text the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. Standard messaging and data rates may apply. It's really easy. You just, when you text it to 81530, start with the word Texas. That's because of our geographic location with the text line service we use. So you start with the word Texas, followed by your question or comment to 81530. So if you wanted to say, when I was growing up as a Cowboys fan, I hated both Washington and New York, you would type in the word Texas and then say, when I was a Cowboys fan growing up, I hated both Washington and New York and Philadelphia, by the way. So nothing like NFC rivalry stuff. All right. We'll get to all of that and more coming up this afternoon. Glad to have you with us here on a Yacht Rock Wednesday to remind you of, here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone, and where you always listen to us for absolutely free of charge, the iHeartRadio app.
Text Texas, followed by your message to 81530 to chat along with your favorite sports radio AM 1300 The Zone hosts. That's Texas, followed by your message to 81530. Standard data and message rates may apply.
With over 30 years of experience, DJC Law is not just any lawyer. They're your neighbors. We're talking about real people who live and work in your community. They go to the same restaurants, cheer at the same games. And when someone's hurt, they show up, because that's what good neighbors do. The Austin community is woven into who they are as a law firm, and they take all the problems that an accident brings and treats it as though it's happening to their family. DJC Law will help you navigate the legal process, making sure you understand all of your legal obligations. Want to know more? If you were seriously injured by the negligence of another, call Dan Christensen at 512-888-9999. They're available 24/7, 365. They'll even come to your home or in the hospital via Zoom or by the telephone. With 30-plus years of experience, they've recovered more than $400 million in settlements and verdicts on behalf of their clients. 512-888-9999. That's 512-888-9999.
Hey, it's Cam, inviting you to join me for the Longhorns football game this Saturday starting at 11 a.m. The Zone will be at Plucker's Wing Bar, 3909 South Lamar, starting at 11 a.m. for kickoff against Ohio State. Come join us for the fun, food, and fans.
Texas weather can be brutal, so why settle for anything less than tough, reliable protection? Mueller delivers premium steel buildings and residential metal roofing built to handle year-round weather with lasting durability. Whether it's a barn, garage, or your forever home, trust Mueller to design your metal building project with style that stands out. Call Mueller Inc. today or visit MuellerInc.com. Design strong, designed for Texas.
Sound familiar? At Mattress Firm, we understand there are many problems that can keep you up at night, like snoring, aches and pains, or sleeping hot. Our sleep experts have the unrivaled know-how to match you with a mattress that can help. And now at Mattress Firm, get a king bed for a queen price, plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here. Based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 a monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs, from quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options. Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Get a quote today in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Whoa, it's you, the Capital One Bank guy.
That's what they call me.
Mind if I get a selfie?
Yeah, sure thing. Say no fees or minimums on your Capital One checking account.
Wow, that's a keeper. So, where are you heading?
I'm off to spread the good news that Capital One helps people keep more money in their wallet with no overdraft fees.
Oh, you're the best Capital One Bank guy.
Hey, mind if I get a selfie?
Sure.
Say, Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
Some things can steal your sunshine. Ugh, I just got my hair done.
Sorry, the cooler's broken.
Anyone see my flip-flops? Anyone?
But COVID-19 can steal a lot more.
I just took a COVID test. Ugh.
Prescription medications for COVID exist. If you test positive this summer, ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit Pfizerforall.com/COVID-19 to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Back to Craig Way, the voice of the Longhorns on 1300 The Zone.
It's a Yacht Rock Wednesday here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. And, of course, the Doobie Brothers, one of the Yacht Rock standards. And even though Michael McDonald, of course, is more Yacht Rock during his era, I still like Long Train Running and like a lot of the early Doobie stuff, too, which still does qualify musically as a Yacht Rock. Glad to have you with us here on this Yacht Rock Wednesday afternoon here on 1300 The Zone. Before we get to the audio there with Michael Taaffe. Now that's our conversation with Will Matthews, is it not? It is that our man Will Matthews had with Michael Taaffe. Before we get to that, last week on the program, we were lifting some comments from quotes from the article that Seth Emerson of The Athletic wrote about the SEC schedule getting ready to go to a 9-game conference schedule. He was the first one out there, said it's going to happen. And then like within an hour, the announcement came down that it was definitely happening. And he does write some really good things, some salient things for The Athletic. He has a piece today entitled, "Is This College Football's Best Week 1 Ever?" It says, "From Columbus to Clemson to Miami, buckle up." So he talks about how big this weekend is. He talks about a quote from Dabo Swinney at Clemson where he goes, you wake up, you hit the alarm clock, that sort of thing. And then he says, then you look up and you go, oh, man, we're playing LSU on national TV at home. It's awesome. It's a lot of juice, man. You could just feel it. And as Seth Emerson put, he said they probably felt it also at LSU and at Ohio State and Texas and Notre Dame and Miami, maybe even at South Carolina, Virginia Tech, Georgia Tech, and Colorado. All over college football, there's a lot of juice this week 1, which by a few metrics might be the biggest week 1 ever. Here's his case for it. It features 3 matchups between teams ranked in the top 10 of the AP preseason poll. Obviously, number 1 Texas at number 3 Ohio State. You have number 9 LSU at number 4 Clemson. That's a Saturday night game. You have number 6 Notre Dame at number 10 Miami on Sunday night, this being Labor Day weekend going into it. Seth Emerson points out that there have never been this many games between top 10 teams on any opening weekend. In fact, it's only the 4th regular season week of any kind since 1978 to feature 3 in one weekend. November 11th of 2017, September 30th / October 1st in 2016, and October 12th of 2002. I know what one of those was. That was Texas OU there in the Cotton Bowl on that one. He said this week also has 3 more ranked teams who are playing power conference opponents, plus a 4th ranked team playing on the road. You have number 8 Alabama playing at Florida State. You have number 13 South Carolina hosting Virginia Tech. You have number 24 Tennessee playing Syracuse. That one's in Atlanta. And it's got number 25 Boise State playing tomorrow night to get it all going at South Florida. It's one of the Thursday night games. And as Emerson points out, there are 5 more power conference matchups, including Bill Belichick's debut as North Carolina coach. Tomorrow night, another headliner. This one's on ESPN. You have Nebraska and Cincinnati playing at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. You have Georgia Tech at Colorado on Friday night. You have Auburn at Baylor on Friday night. That's a Fox telecast. That's the big blackout that they have going on in Waco, where the Bears are going to come out in black uniforms and I think the chrome gold helmets. And this one has been an advanced sellout. I had somebody in Waco tell me yesterday, there's times when they talked about a game being at or close or near to a sellout, or in some cases, just a flat-out sellout, and they might have inflated it a little bit. There's no inflation, this one. There are no tickets to be had unless you go through the secondary markets. That's a sellout, Auburn at Baylor. Saturday night, late night, what we used to refer to as Pac-12 After Dark. It's 2 former Pac-12 teams. One now is a Big 12. The other is Big 10. Utah at UCLA. And on Monday night, on Labor Day night, remember, there's no NFL football, regular season football, until the season debut a week from tomorrow when the Cowboys play in Philadelphia against the Eagles. So there is, by custom, a Labor Day night matchup, and this one is TCU at North Carolina. So as he points out, that's a total of 11 games between power conference teams. Is it the best week 1 ever? Well, it's hard to be definitive, especially because the concept of week 1 gets trickier the farther back you trace it. The college football season has had more staggered starts prior to the 1990s. For example, a matchup between number 1 Notre Dame and number 2 Michigan in 1989 was the Wolverines opener, but the Fighting Irish had opened up 17 days earlier. The most recent competition is the 2016 season opener, which had 10 power conference matchups and 4 games between top 25 teams, though none of those games were top 10 matchups. It did end up memorable, Texas upsetting Notre Dame on Sunday night, as Emerson points out so astutely, to ignite years of Texas is back memes. I still have Joe Tessitore to thank for that, because that was not the case. They were not back. Wisconsin upset number 5 LSU at Lambeau Field. That was one of 5 matchups featuring ranked teams that weekend in either neutral sites or NFL stadiums. This year, however, all 3 of the top 10 matchups are at campus sites, as are 7 of the power conference matchups. That could add to the mystique. So that's something else to keep in mind, as if it is indeed the best week 1 ever in college football. Well, one guy's getting ready for it is Michael Taaffe, the Longhorns veteran, back for another year. And our man, Will Matthews, our sideline reporter on the Longhorn Radio Network from Learfield, who takes the opportunity to sit down with different Longhorn players each week. We heard a couple of his conversations yesterday. Let's hear a couple of them today, starting with his visit with the senior from Westlake, Michael Taaffe.
Now it's your team. All the older guys are gone. You're the older guy now. And how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels cool. I mean, when new people come on campus, it's like, geez, I'm old. But it's been cool. As far as the team, like when you have people that trust you and respect you and believe in you and listen to you when you talk, that means a lot, because I was the guy that was looking up, back in the day. So now that I am the guy, it's been really cool, and just try to be a disciple in the locker room and spread what I know and spread all the knowledge that I can.
So Coach Sark talked about how fun and funny you guys are. But when I interact with you, there is a confidence. Of course it is fun and funny, but there's a focus and a confidence. Where do you think that has really started to explode inside of the team?
Yeah, I try to tell people, like, you're at Texas for a reason. No matter what people say around the country, Texas is the definition of success. If you look around, I mean, we're in a room of all these trophies. And so you belong here. So go out and play like it. You should have confidence knowing that you're better than the guy right across from you, because you are. You got to believe that. So
over the last couple of years, Texas had to play the underdog card.
Yeah.
We're the guy, we got to get up there. And, if you guys are here right now, what does it mean to not have the underdog card and to be playing from the front and be like, hey, we're number one, we got to do our thing?
Yeah, it feels good. But at the end of the day, like, I kind of like being the underdog. So if people have that same attitude, good. If people have the confidence attitude, good. Run with both of them. I think as a leader, you got to know who you're trying to lead. Like, is it a guy that's a little bit shy? Is it a guy that's overly confident? Where do you want to balance them out? And so you just got to know your personnel and attack it how you want to.
Taaffe, you played a couple of snaps here. You spent a couple of years here. What is the legacy that you are looking to leave after this year?
Significance, however that may be.
Go into that.
Yeah.
We got to go. What is significance?
Yeah. I don't know what that is right now. Whatever God has in store for me, but I know that when my name gets brought up, I want it to be not somebody that's remembered for 20 picks, not some guy that's remembered for 105 tackles, but a guy that's remembered as significance, how his teammates remember him, how the coaches remember him, how the custodian remembers him, and also a winner. So as much as I want to be significant, I also want to be a winner.
And as we move into the last season for Michael Taaffe, and you get to just really kind of look at the whole thing, what are going to be the things that you take with you?
Oh man, I think I try to rush it too much my first 4 years, and this last year deciding to come back. What I told myself and what I keep telling myself every day is be so grateful for it. Not a lot of times in your life, again, are you going to get free 3 meals a day, free treatment, free recovery,
and
free
the shoes
coaching.
Are great.
Yeah, free shoes, free apparel. And by the way, you're living out your dream, going to play in that field in front of 105,000 fans. So just trying to be grateful for it all.
All right, there it is, Michael Taaffe. It's always good to visit with him. All right, coming up, I'll tell you what, before we get to the coming up for Inconceivable, I want to get Cam Parker's opinion on this before we get to the break. And that was the announcement that came down today from Keegan Bradley, the U.S. Ryder Cup captain. There were many thought he should have selected himself as a playing captain. He would have been the first playing captain in 62 years. Didn't do it. His team was, that announced today, Justin Thomas, Colin Morikawa, Ben Griffin, Cameron Young, Patrick Cantlay, and Sam Burns. Those were the captain's choices there against, along with, obviously, Scotty Scheffler, J.J. Spawn, Xander Schauffele, Russell Henley, Harris English, and Bryson DeChambeau, who have qualified. There's some people who are kind of miffed, thinking that he should have named himself. What's your take on that?
I would have been okay if he had named himself over Morikawa, but you mentioned he would have been the first playing captain in 62 years.
Mm-hmm.
And everything you heard from the European side was like, yeah, go ahead and name yourself as a playing captain. We want that, because how in the world is he going to be a captain when he's out in the middle of the golf course playing around? And what happens if he doesn't play well and he keeps picking himself, or vice versa? What if he's playing well and he's afraid of putting himself out there for a third time? It made more sense for him to, unless he automatically qualified, to just pick somebody else. And a lot of times you get caught up in the 11th and 12th man of these Ryder Cup teams.
Mm-hmm.
Craig, really, it's decided by how your best players play. The Ryder Cup will not be decided based on how Keegan Bradley would have played or how Morikawa or Sam Burns. It'll be decided on how Bryson DeChambeau plays, how Scotty Scheffler plays, how Russell Henley, how JJ. It'll be decided by the top 6 guys, the best 6 players, maybe the best 8. It won't be decided by the 11th or 12th guy. It's always a misconception. And, for the most part, it's become a huge storyline because of Keegan Bradley. And he probably could have squashed this a lot earlier. And I listened to the press conference, and he actually said he never really thought about picking himself. And then he went at Hartford, and he was like, okay, I'll probably have to entertain the idea. But he's known for a while he was never going to pick himself. It probably would have been a lot easier if he had just said that instead of continuing to talk about it. I mean, even after the Tour Championship this past weekend, it still kind of seemed like he was going to pick himself. And a lot of people in the media thought he was going to pick himself. He probably could have squashed this if he just came out in July and said, hey, you know what? I'm not going to pick myself. But he, kept it on the table, and that led to all this discourse. But I think this team is an excellent team. Morikawa, he made it to the final 30, but his post-run interview on Sunday, he talked about he doesn't know where his iron shots are going, which is a little worrisome.
Mm-hmm.
But also, outside of Morikawa, if he doesn't pick himself, then, maybe it's Matt McNeely, who had a great year at the same time, has never played in the Ryder Cup. Do you go with someone like Andrew Novak, who hasn't played? Do you go with Jordan Spieth, who has been on the Ryder Cup teams, but his game has fallen off the planet the last couple of months? So I think it's a really good 12. The U.S. are playing at Bethpage. It's a course that is set up for those who can drive the longest. From my understanding, they're basically taking away the rough at this tournament, which is going to benefit the Americans, because the Europeans' advantage is definitely their ball striking. It's why the fairways in in Rome were 5 yards wide. The Americans are going to make Bethpage 100 yards wide. So the course favors the Americans. The best golfer in the world is an American. I'm excited for this. I'm pumped up. Give me Team USA the win this year.
Okay. To your point, at that news conference yesterday in Frisco at the PGA of America headquarters, his quote was, the last 48 hours we had the team set. We weren't scrambling at all. This was really a tough decision. I will say there was a point where I was playing. All these guys stepped up in a major way and played their way onto this team. And that's something that I'm really proud of and something that I really wanted. You know why this draws so much attention? You know who the last playing captain was?
So 60 years ago, that would have been
1963.
I'm trying to think. Would that have been Arnold?
Very good.
Yeah.
Arnold Palmer. Oh, by the way, it was at Eastlake.
Oh, really? No kidding.
It was at Eastlake.
Okay.
In 1963. That's the last time the Ryder Cup had a playing captain. Arnold Palmer, it makes sense. He was at the top of his game there in the early 60s.
The only playing captain that would probably ever make sense would be Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Anyone else, like
going back to Arnold Palmer.
Yeah. Maybe Scotty, because who knows? If Scotty's still playing this good in 10, 15, 20 years, there's probably no one else you trust as a captain, maybe. But there's a reason why the Europeans don't have playing captains, and it's why the Europeans have kind of dominated this event the last couple decades or so.
When Colin Montgomery was captain, he didn't play, did he?
I don't think so. I can double check that.
Yeah, I don't think he was. While Cam checks that, we'll take a break. When we come back, we've got Inconceivable. Boy, do we have a fast food update for you. Stay tuned for that when we continue on 13 Under the Zone.
At In-N-Out, our hamburgers are made with the highest quality ingredients. Made fresh and by hand. Made with a smile to put a smile on your face. Made for special occasions or no occasion at all. Made with gratitude for every customer we get to serve.
Most of all, every hamburger, cheeseburger, and double-double is made to order just for you.
That's what hamburgers all about.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like wanting a psychic that helps you, but getting one that just ruins surprises.
I see the season finale. Steve's the killer.
Well, that's ruined.
Don't settle for just any insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Are you planning a special event or need to secure a construction site? Call Viking Fence today. For all your temporary fencing needs, Viking Fence is the name you can trust. With over 50 years of experience in Central Texas, Viking Fence provides top quality temporary fencing and excellent service. And that's not all. Viking also offers sanitation, dumpster, and mobile storage services to keep your space safe and secure. Give them a call today at 512-601-8911 for a free estimate, or visit vikingfence.com/radio to learn more. Trust Viking Fence, where excellent work, outstanding service, and an honest reputation comes standard. There's no comparison on quality and price. For all your temporary fencing needs, think Viking Fence. Call 512-601-8911. That's 512-601-8911 for a free estimate, or visit vikingfence.com/radio. That's vikingfence.com/radio. vikingfence.com/radio.
The largest gun show in Central Texas is headed to Buda this weekend. Texas Gun Show is voted the #1 gun show in Texas. Will be at the Central Texas Fieldhouse just off Interstate 35 in Buda this Saturday, 10 till 5, and Sunday, 10 till 4. Hundreds of tables of guns, free parking, and no toll road. Do not miss it. Buy, sell, trade, and exercise your Second Amendment rights this weekend at the Central Texas Fieldhouse in Buda. For more info, visit gunshowstx.com. Texas Gun Shows, making gun shows guns again.
Mira, Jorge, let's bring the nail gun over here.
Jose stands tall atop his sustainable flooring company.
Totally. It's renewable and moisture resistant, but we have several green options too. Or we got some beautiful reclaimed oak.
But floored by his success, he needs to hire more installers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500? That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $50,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet will always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
Football is back.
And the season lives on iHeartRadio.
Whether it's fantasy advice
Or venting with your favorite host over that blown call.
iHeartRadio brings you all of it.
From the official NFL Podcast Network.
Welcome to NFL Daily. To local stations that bring you the games live. Touchdown! This is 24/7 coverage of everything you love about football.
And it all starts now.
Just open the iHeartRadio app
And search NFL
to dive in.
iHeartRadio presents Stuff You Should Know.
Caffeine can be really good for you and help a lot of things, and caffeine can be kind of bad for you.
It's a drug, and in its pure form, Chuck,
Yeah.
it is a bitter-tasting crystalline powder.
Naturally, it's in the coffee bean and in chocolate and tea, but it's also added artificially in things like soda. Your body is enjoying the caffeine. It's blocking that adenosine. You're going to feel alert and awake. It's got that adrenaline going, and it's rewarding you with the dopamine. I mentioned the vicious cycle, the inevitable crash,
right?
Like any stimulant drug, and you want more of it. Eventually, it's going to affect your sleep patterns. All right, how about some health benefits?
Right.
They found everything from not develop Parkinson's disease to dropping your risk of various cancers.
Well, coffee actually is shown to reduce your risk of diabetes.
4 cups a day, 50% less chance of mouth and throat cancer.
You should eat more grapefruit because grapefruit contains something called Narragin or Narragin, and it actually slows the removal of caffeine from your brain.
Okay.
So you enjoy its effects longer.
Nice.
Yeah.
For the entire caffeine episode and everything else in the Stuff You Should Know universe, open the free iHeart app, search Stuff, and listen now.
Coach Sark here. 1300 The Zone is your flagship home for the Texas Longhorns.
One of those things that might seem inconceivable to people about the start of the football season, but Cam, I think I've heard you refer to it as another one of those mile markers, mile posts, or to getting near the start of the college football season is when you see me pull out the broadcast charts.
Broadcast chart.
Yeah, so we've got those ready for the season opener on Saturday, and that's going to be a part of our Longhorn Weekly conversation with Coach Stark. We need to tell you a little more about that in just a few moments. But I want to start with the fast food, junk food update. First of all, Jake, you're a non-native Texan, like the two of us, but I've lived most of my life in the state of Texas. Where do you stand with Dr. Pepper? You like Dr. Pepper?
It's too sweet for me.
Look at this.
It's too sweet.
You like Dr. Pepper, don't you, Cam?
I never heard anyone say it's too sweet for them. It's a new one for me, but okay.
Yeah, okay. All right. So this might not appeal to you, but our man CB there on X sent this to me. New Dairy Queen menu item combines two Texas icons in one bite. So it's called, if this appeals to you, Cam, the Dr. Pepper Barbecue Patty Melt.
Nope.
No? All right. It's a beef patty, topped with American cheese, bacon, 2 onion rings, and a jalapeno relish. Now, I might order it without that. But it's served on Texas toast and finished with a Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce. Not for you?
That I've had, and it's good.
You've had this burger?
No, I've had a Dr. Pepper barbecue sauce before.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, they have that at Pluckers. They have the Dr. Pepper wing.
Yeah, and I've had those. And to Jake's point, those I think are too sweet for barbecue chicken wing.
Okay.
Hamburger just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right to me.
Hey. All right. Here's something. Where do you guys stand with Chipotle?
Love it.
Love it.
Okay.
Once or twice a week. Double chicken.
All right. You guys are the modern age of college students. Linda and I were talking about this today, that, my sons both love wings and can eat wings all the time. And I said, it's kind of as time has evolved, wings has become more of it. Just as probably when I was younger, I could eat a hamburger almost every day, and my parents would think that's weird.
I'm like that too.
Yeah.
I can sign me up for a burger anytime.
Okay. All right. With something else happening now, as if it's not enough for this week for Texas and Ohio State, almost 2,000 student athletes at Ohio State, as well as Florida and Georgia, will get free Chipotle. That's a new NIL deal between the restaurant and those 3 universities. It was announced today by Chipotle that all student athletes at those 3 schools, Ohio State, Florida, and Georgia, will receive a customized card, allowing them to receive 1 free entree per week for 15 weeks. You would take that, right? You guys would take that.
I would take it.
Yeah, they take that to get free Chipotle entrees. So one of those big old fat burritos they do, or a bowl. One of those deals.
Can I load it up with double meat, guacamole?
Yeah, 1 free entree, right? I guess you could. One other fast food thing. Our friends at Yardbarker did the 20 forgettable fast food items that were major flops. Okay? You guys are pretty young, so you may not have indulged in some of these. But as I wheel them off, you let me know. You remember when McDonald's had a hot dog? The McHot dog?
No, I don't.
They had one. They had one for a while. Yeah, it failed because they said the bun and the dog were too similar in color, so didn't make it there. The Burger King enormous omelet sandwich. I think I remember this a few years ago. But it's long, it's lengthwise. And they said, or some people said it was simply too big. And does anyone need their omelet to come on a sandwich? That's a valid question. Okay, the Taco Bell Bell Beefer. I remember those. You can still get something like that.
Sorry, Bell Beefer?
You've been to Taco Casa, ever had that taco burger? They have a Taco Casa. Same deal. It's basically a taco on a hamburger bun. That's
so a Sloppy Joe?
Well, it's more of like a taco, though. Sloppy Joe is just sauce and the meat and the onions and
mayonnaise,
that stuff like
mayonnaise.
that.
Mm-hmm. So that's the Sloppy Joe.
The Bell Beefer was the one that it's just like a taco. It's the lettuce, the tomatoes, it's everything that would be on a taco, but it's on a hamburger bun. You can still get those at Taco Casa, by the way.
It's a hard-shelled truther. I'm out on that.
Okay. Dairy Queen Breeze. It's a version of the Blizzard, but it featured froyo instead, frozen yogurt instead of ice cream. It was a flop. People didn't want that. They wanted if they were going to do it, if you're going to go to DQ, you might as well just go all out, right?
I wonder if it failed the upside down test.
Yeah. I remember this in the 70s. Frings, Jack in the Box. It's French fries and onion rings. And what they used to do is they actually had a package where it was split. There was a divider in it, and they would stick the French fries on one side and the onion rings on the other side. So they said it just didn't take. It wasn't good. So it didn't go along with it. All right. So those were a few of the fast food items. There's a whole bunch of them, but anyway, that's just a few of the ones that aren't around anymore. If you guys get in the market to look for a new home, and if you're looking perhaps to move to the state of Kansas, I got the place for you. There's a former missile silo up for sale. And they say it could really work well as a home. Now that's kind of the opening to it. That would be the front door. It's just out in the middle of the field. And it can be yours for $1.3 million for that. It's a driveway that's about a quarter of a mile long, cuts through an open field and ends in a door with no building. And it goes back to the U.S.-Soviet, standoff. And so it was actually built in 1960 to house and perhaps, in the worst case scenario, to launch a nuclear-equipped Atlas intercontinental ballistic missile, an ICBM.
A lot of those up in North Dakota where I lived a couple years ago.
Wow. So this is for sale. If you're interested in it, you can kind of get it for $1.3 million if you're up for that. Cameron mentioned the other day that he'd never seen any of the Harry Potter catalog. What about you, Jake?
I've seen everything and read all the books. I haven't read any of the spin-offs.
Okay, but you've read all the books and seen all, 7 movies, right?
7 books, 8 movies.
Okay, 8 movies. That's right, because the last one was parts 1 and 2. That's right, Deathly Hallows. Did you know they're bringing them back starting this Saturday for a week? They're just across the nation. That every day there's going to be the different parts. And so, in the series returning to theaters for a marathon screening event running from this coming Saturday until Saturday or Sunday, the 31st, to make for a fully nostalgic experience, Regal Cinemas has revealed a themed popcorn bucket that's going to be sold at their location. As they say, it doesn't matter which Hogwarts house you feel you're a part of, there's a bucket for you. The buckets are part of a popcorn drink combo that will also feature themed cups, priced at $30. Now, Cam had no idea what I was talking about when I was talking about Slytherin and Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, and then, of course, obviously, Gryffindor. So, did you ever identify with any of those?
I thought I was a Ravenclaw growing up. I'm probably a Hufflepuff.
Okay. I was curious about it. Okay. All right, Cam. I talked about this yesterday. The news broke yesterday. You and I didn't get a chance to talk about it. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce now engaged.
Oh, man.
Engaged. Got the big rock, the big ring that Kelce designed. You weren't one of the ones who thought it was fake and their whole relationship, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was real.
Yeah, I thought so. I remember that. Apparently, the Chiefs were kind of surprised by the engagement. You asked the Chiefs. They said, we didn't know it was coming. It was great that they're engaged, but kind of took us by surprise. There it is. All right, we'll be back to wrap up hour number 1 on 1300 The Zone.
It's the morning kickoff.
I cannot believe that you and I are seeing things exactly the same.
That's a miracle. With Mike Hardball Harge.
Why do you keep moving closer to me, man?
And the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
Man, that's a lot of man. Like, let them guys... I'm going to punch you before this show is over.
Weekdays at 7 on 1300 The Zone.
Craig Way here, voice of a local college football team, and for Dr. Greg Eckert with Advanced Dentistry, where I've been a patient of his for over a decade. You can experience a new level of dental care in Austin with Dr. Eckert. They provide general, cosmetic, and advanced restorative dentistry. Unlike a lot of dentists, they're open on Fridays. And get this, Dr. Eckert is giving away Zoom teeth whitening for free with every new patient that schedules. That's a $600 value. Give them a call today to set up an appointment. 512-345-3166. Dr. Eckert is spelled UECKERT. DrEckert.com.
Law and Order Criminal Justice System is back. In Season 2, we're turning our focus to a threat that hides in plain sight.
There's been a bombing at the TWA terminal. Just a chaotic scene.
That's harder to predict and even harder to stop.
That's why terrorism works. It doesn't care who you are.
Open your free iHeartRadio app. Search Law and Order Criminal Justice System and start listening now.
You took the elevator to the 48th floor and handed him the briefing. Your fingertips touched, sending a shockwave of desire through the air. The room pulsed with a silent craving as he drew you in with his smoldering gaze before uttering the words your body ached to hear.
The next train on track 2 is delayed.
And all the while, you were on your commute home. There's more to imagine when you listen. Discover romance titles on Audible.
And Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
All month long, Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here's to bigger game days and bolder fight nights. Where else can you find a scratch kitchen that comes in clutch every day from lunch to late night? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar. Twin Peaks eats, drinks, scenic views.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya guselkumab may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Progressive Commercial Insurance can protect your small business with over 30 coverage options, an easy-to-use mobile app, personalized discounts, and more. Get a quote in as little as 8 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Discounts and coverage selections not available in all states or situations.
Get the Apple Leasing Advantage today. Visit appleleasing.com. That's appleleasing.com.
It's almost time for kickoff. Brought to you by Bud Light.
Breaks a tackle 30, turns down the sidelines. Say goodnight to this one. Touchdown, Texas.
Listen to every play, every touchdown, every win on 1300 The Zone.
Fires for the end zone. It's intercepted. Kicked off. This ball game is over.
Today's countdown is
3 days.
Presented by Bud Light all season long on the free iHeartRadio app.
Are you a business owner, CEO, or responsible for marketing? If you are, iHeartMedia can help you reach your goals and find new customers. We reach more consumers in your target area than anyone else, and we can give you access to those potential customers more cost-effectively across radio, digital, podcasting, and social. We'd love to show you how iHeartMedia can work for you. Get started today at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com.
Harge and Henry, the morning kickoff, weekdays at 7.
This morning on the morning kickoff, they're from the UK, coming in hot live with his take as well. We have 2 more hours of the program to go. Now, when we get past the top of the hour here, I'm going to get a couple of your texts because I know some of you had some thoughts, some questions, also some takes on that. When you were rooting for a specific team in the NFC East, in the case of Cameron, obviously the Cowboys, in the case of Jake, it was Washington. Even my friend Bill Schoening, a lifelong Eagles fan as well. Which divisional rival would you dislike the most? And another take coming up from somebody else on that. We'll get to that coming up next hour. And Will Matthews' conversation with Tre Wisner, talking to the Longhorn running back. All that and more coming up in hour number 2 of the program right here on 1300 The Zone.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025. Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, Mark, your license plate still say big man?
Yeah, because it's true. Unlike yours that says fast guy, we both know that's a lie.
Hey, man, don't hate. I got mine at myplates.com. You can make it whatever you want. Team, nickname, even an inside joke.
Yeah, like yours should really say slow jam.
Or yours should just say buffet king.
Hey, I own that.
Hey, hit me up at myplates.com today. That's myplates.com. Use the promo code THEZONE.
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Millions of Americans take medicine like Ozempic and Zepbound. Many of them are overpaying by thousands of dollars a year. These GLP-1 medications for diabetes, weight loss, and more may not always be covered by your insurance, but GoodRx can help. GoodRx helps you save every month on prescriptions at over 70,000 pharmacies nationwide. Best of all, it's free to use. Check GoodRx to save on GLP-1s. Just go to GoodRx.com/GLP. That's GoodRx.com/GLP. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance, including Medicare and other federal and state-funded programs.
Harge here. It's time to buckle up, y'all, and it's back to school season. At Cover Ford Hutto, we know it's not about what you drive, it's about who you drive. Right now, take $9,543 off of MSRP on a new 2025 Ford F-150 Lariat, or $9,500 off of MSRP on a new 2025 Ford Escape ST line. Safe, reliable, ready for the school year. Only at Cover Ford Hutto, right off of 79 in Hutto. CoverFordHutto.com.
In this week's Marketers Report, Corey Marchesotto, CMO of Elf Beauty, partner of iHeart Women's Sports, talks about partnerships.
I see brands as antennas. So we send out the ELF signal, and what comes back is people who want to be a part of this story. Why are we partnering with iHeart? Because we want to advance women in sports.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia can get more people to hear your message than anyone else. For better results for every budget, visit iHeartAdvertising.com.
Live radio, trusted DJs, breaking news, live play-by-play, endless music, and podcasts just for you. It's the free iHeartRadio app. Radio your way. Join the millions who already have it. Download the free iHeartRadio app, the #1 app for radio.
Portions of the following program were pre-recorded.
From the Audio Visual Consultation Studios, Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, KDET AM Austin, your home for the Horns, and the #1 preset in your car and on the free iHeartRadio app. He's a Texas legend, a Hall of Fame broadcaster, the voice of the Texas Longhorns, and your host of the Craig Way Show. Here he is now, Craig Way.
Second hour of the program here on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone. Glad to have you with us on this Yacht Rock Wednesday afternoon. My name is Craig Way. Thanks for joining us. Jake Herman, our producer, alongside as well. Hey, I wanted to mention something before we got too much further into it, and I'll remind everybody of it again later. We are recording, as we've done for the past few years, we're recording the first Longhorn Weekly with Coach Sark program of the season this evening. However, there's something you need to know. We will not be at Pluckers with the show this year. And it's for a variety of factors. And one of the advantages that will come from this, however, is that not only will Coach Sark be with us now because it's going to be in a spot where there won't be, say, a live audience with us. So it'll be us. But because where we'll be on campus, it'll give Sark an opportunity to bring former players alongside, staff members. And in fact, our first program of the season that we'll record this evening will feature lifetime Longhorn, Jamal Charles, and also Dwayne Aquina from the coaching staff. But it's not going to be in front of an audience. It's not going to be at Pluckers. However, you will still be able to see it through Longhorn Network, through the app and the streaming service Longhorn Network, through TexasLonghorns.com. And obviously, you'll be able to hear it here on the Zone. Most of the time, the program will air at 7 o'clock. But here late in the regular season for the Round Rock Express, the program will actually move up a little bit. Like, for example, tomorrow's debut of it will air at 5 o'clock with an early Round Rock Express game. And then what we are also going to do is re-air the program Friday afternoons at 5. So even on weeks where it's like Thursday night at 7 when it normally comes down, you'll hear it again Friday afternoon at 5. This week, it'll happen to be 5 o'clock, both tomorrow and Friday. So if you miss it tomorrow, it'll be there on Friday as well. So I just wanted to let you know that the program will not be at Pluckers this season, and it will be recorded on campus, and then it'll be played at a time you'll be able to hear it. Okay. Now, there's a couple things I wanted to get to from the text line. Somebody pointing out when both Cameron Parker and Jake Herman were talking about growing up as fans of opposing NFC East rivals, Dallas and Washington. And I'm old enough to remember when that was real hot and heavy back in starting the late 60s, but really throughout the decade of the 70s and into the 80s as well. It was the hopping and bopping rivalry. It was the Yankees Red Sox of the NFL back in the day. Your folks ever tell you that, by the way, since you're a Washington, D.C. native, Jake?
Yeah, they did. They did. And my dad actually grew up a Saints fan originally. So,
Was he from New Orleans?
No, he grew up in Birmingham.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yep.
But a little bit newer to the area. But he was in D.C. He missed the great runs of the 90s and was there for the Dan Snyder years.
Oh, okay.
Only.
I understand. So of course, and then I asked you guys, who was the rival you most detested? And because of time being different and the rivalry kind of really smoldering and going down between Dallas and Washington, you still see it pop up a little bit. But mainly with the rise of both the Eagles and the Giants, it changed things. So that for Jake, he talked about Philadelphia being the rival he most wanted to defeat. For Cam, it was the Giants. And both happened to fall when both of you guys saw your teams foiled by those rivals. The Eagles last year beating the Commanders in the NFC Championship. The Cowboys twice losing to the Giants in key moments there, including in the playoffs that knocked them out as well. So there's that. Going to the text line, somebody said, if you go back, he said to the opening segment, he said, I'm 58 years old. He said, growing up, I hated the Cardinals. Conrad Dobler and Dan Deerdorf and that group. And some folks will go, what? The Cardinals? The Cardinals aren't even the same division. They were for many, many years. The St. Louis Cardinals, the football Cardinals, the St. Louis football Cardinals were in the NFC East. They were, their original franchise was in Chicago. They were the Chicago Cardinals back in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s. They played at Comiskey Park, the White Sox old ballpark, with the Bears playing at Wrigley Field and also at Soldier Field back in the day. But the Cardinals were there. Here's an interesting footnote. The Cardinals were going to be for sale in the late 50s. And this young entrepreneur tried to buy the Cardinals, and he was blocked by the NFL from purchasing them. And so on his plane flight home from Chicago, he was going home to Dallas. And this young entrepreneur said, well, if I can't have a franchise in the NFL, I'll just get guys and start up a league. That young man's name at age 26 was Lamar Hunt. And as the late Paul Harvey used to say, and now you know the rest of the story. He went and established the AFL. He had the Dallas Texans, which became what is currently the Kansas City Chiefs. But it started with his bid to buy the Chicago Cardinals, and the NFL blocked him from doing that. So the Cardinals were there. They found another buyer, and they moved to St. Louis in 1960, and they were there until about 87, I believe it was. And then they moved to Phoenix, and they were originally the Phoenix Cardinals, but then they took the name the Arizona Cardinals later. The inverse of what the Marlins have done, going from Florida Marlins to Miami Marlins. So it really started that. And there were years in the 70s where the Cardinals were good. They won a couple of NFC East titles. They were a traditional foil of the Cowboys, and it was tough going to St. Louis to play them. So that's why I understand the comment there from the texter said he hated the Cardinals. Conrad Dobler and Dan Deerdorf, two very, very really good and mean offensive linemen. Of course, Deerdorf went on to Monday Night Football fame. To my inconceivable note about the fast foods that disappeared, I said Frings from Jack in the Box. Somebody pointed out that Five Guys has Frings on their menu where you can get the combo.
Oh.
Yeah. It's a good burger too, but you can get French fries and onion rings there at Five Guys.
Still better as a combo than a Franken-fry that tries to be a ring.
Yeah, okay. Nick in San Angelo asks, I'm leaving for Ohio on Friday afternoon with my 9-year-old daughter. Do we feel like the Buckeye fan base will be welcoming, or should we proceed with caution? Well, I always think when you're an opposing team's fan, if you're wearing your colors of the opposing team, you do keep your head on a swivel. But I heard both sides of it 20 years ago when Texas played in Columbus. And I heard it from Longhorn fans who said they were treated very, very nice. And I heard from those who said they were not. The biggest difference between then and now is that game was a night game. This game is at noon Eastern. So how should I put this? Less time for folks to get lubricated, so to speak, oiled up. You might say, overserved. So I think you'll be okay, Nick. Chuck in Houston says, I'm not buying that whole Micah Parsons back tightness thing. He says it bothers him and it's tight, but the Cowboys had MRIs done and it didn't reveal anything, just that he had soreness going on. There was one other element that I wanted to mention out of that story that I did or brought reference to last hour. The article by Seth Emerson from The Athletic, when the headline is this college football's best week one ever? From Columbus to Clemson to Miami, buckle up. And he says there's evidence to suggest that it is, because for the first time ever, you have 3 top 10 matchups on week one. That's never happened in the history of the AP poll. The AP preseason poll started in 1950, and there's never been 3 top 10 matchups on week one. Now, there's different also over the years, some exceptions with some things, but it was a little bit different. But Seth Emerson's piece basically said that there's nothing quite ready to match it. And a lot of it happened by luck and happenstance, because, as he says, in college football, nobody's in charge. But then he goes on, and this is an interesting point. He said, maybe the closest to in charge when it comes to non-conference scheduling is a former ESPN executive who runs Gridiron Schedule. This is a consulting firm that connects programs looking for games. The executive, the former ESPN executive, is Dave Brown. Some of you may recognize that name. Dave Brown was the programming executive who was in charge of Longhorn Network when it started in 2010. He made a lot of enemies quickly, not in the Longhorn community, but outside in the Big 12 and all that, who thought it would be an unfair recruiting advantage for Texas to have an institutional network on the air. And Dave probably exacerbated the situation when they were talking about having high school football games on that. They talked to me about doing the high school games. And he went as far as to be quoted as saying, he was talking about when Jonathan Gray was coming out of Alito, the great running back. He said, you'll be able to watch. He was already committed to Texas after his junior year, and he was saying things like, you'll be able to watch Jonathan Gray as he plays his senior year, and all these future Longhorns. Well, eventually, there were enough people to complain about it, and the NCAA said, nope, no institutional networks can televise high school football games. So that went by the wayside. Dave ultimately went by the wayside and moved out to California, was working for ESPN, and now he works, like we said, he runs Gridiron Schedule. That's this consulting firm that connects programs looking for games. And so Seth Emerson was talking to him yesterday about this, and Emerson asked him about next year and the year after and said, hey, is anything going to be like this? And he said, Dave Brown looked down at his spreadsheet and said, in the coming years, you're not getting anything near this, not even close. Now, as Emerson points out, he said a lot of that's due to the fact that games are spread out over the first 2 weeks. The opening week in 2026 has 6 power conference games, with Clemson's return date at LSU, Boise State at Oregon, Miami at South Carolina, the only ones between teams that are ranked right now. But the second week of next year has Ohio State going back to Texas. Remember, the Longhorns open with Texas State at home before Ohio State returns. Also in the second week next year, Oklahoma's at Michigan, and there are 3 other power conference games. So it's there. It's just not all power-packed into the first week. And as Emerson examined it, he said, so why did the 2025 season end up so front-loaded? Mostly luck. Ohio State and Texas last played a regular season game in 2006. That's when the Longhorns were coming off the national championship. Redshirt freshman Colt McCoy was taking the reins at quarterback. Texas had beaten Ohio State in the horseshoe, as we pointed out, 20 years ago. It was 2005, 25-22, and then held that number 2 ranking all the way through the rest of the regular season and the Big 12 championship game where they beat Colorado 70-3. And then it was on to the Rose Bowl to take on defending national champion USC. And we all know how that all turned out with Texas winning it. So the last time they had played a regular season game was 2006. As Emerson points out, this seems perfectly timed. 9 months after they met in the CFP semifinals. It's really actually about 8 months when you're looking at the time. It's almost 8 months to the day, in fact. And ahead of a possible rematch in this year's playoff, it seems to be perfect timing. But this game part of a home and home, wasn't scheduled last year or the year before that or the year before that. No, this Texas-Ohio State series was originally scheduled in 2012 when Urban Meyer was in his first year in Columbus and Mac Brown was the Longhorns coach. It was originally set for 2022-2023, but was pushed back to 2025 in January of 2020. At that point, no one could have known it would wind up being a matchup of top three teams. LSU and Clemson, which met in the national championship game to cap the 2019 season, arranged their game, the first ever in the regular season, for this Saturday. The year before that, when Dan Radakovich, who's now the athletic director at Miami, was Clemson's athletic director. Radakovich had worked at LSU, so he called up an old friend in the LSU athletic department and came together pretty quickly. Notre Dame is playing Miami as part of the ACC's 5 games a year scheduling agreement with the Fighting Irish. Remember, they're kind of a scheduling partner, but and they play in the ACC and other sports, but not in football, where they still operate as an independent. It was originally supposed to happen a couple of years ago, but it was moved at Miami's request because then new head coach Mario Cristobal wanted some time to get his roster in place. Now he's coming off a 9-3 season. And when the conference office asked both schools if they would be willing to play on week 1 and on Sunday night, knowing it would need more attention, both agreed. Miami and Notre Dame are much more acquainted with each other than week 1's other marquee opponents, most famously for the 2 decades of their near annual play between 1970 and 1990. That included the famous Catholics versus Convicts game. They've also played 4 times since 2010, this being the 3rd one as part of the Notre Dame ACC scheduling agreement. So they're pretty excited about that. Georgia Tech and Colorado, 2 teams that, by the way, shared the 1990 national championship with the split polls, have never played. So that's a new thing as well. The question is what will happen in future week 1s, because there's mixed signals. Alabama and West Virginia canceled, I mentioned this yesterday, their home and home series for 2026-2027. They cited the SEC's move to a 9-game schedule being the main difference. But Alabama, for now, is keeping a home and home with Ohio State, as is Georgia. The SEC and perhaps the ACC going to 9 games will decrease the slots available for marquee non-conference matchups. And most programs still want to ensure 7 home games per season, or failing that, 6 plus a high revenue neutral site game, which is basically what Texas deals with the OU game as well. As they say, playoff expansion could help, giving teams a little more wiggle room to avoid early season losses, but expansion also doesn't deserve much credit for this week's big set of games. Almost all were scheduled before it was known that the CFP would even be expanding to 12 teams. So anyway, that's where that is. And also, I think it's important to keep in mind when we brought up the SEC expansion topic last week and when it became official, and when the commissioner, Greg Sankey, announced that, it was also made plainly stated that the expectation and mandate will be for all SEC schools to play at least one Power 4 conference opponent in non-conference play every year. And they all did it last year. It kind of got glossed over, but they did. And he said, it's got to be that way. We want that to happen. So even with a 9-game conference schedule on the future slate for the SEC, they're going to continue to play at least one Power 4 opponent every year. So that's a good thing. All right, up next, conversation with Longhorns running back Tre Wisner. Tre will sit down with our Will Matthews when we continue on this Yacht Rock Wednesday afternoon on Sports Radio AM 1300 The Zone.
For the 4th time in 5 years, the Texas Longhorns have won the Directors' Cup.
Texas wins the national championship. The Longhorns are on top of the college softball world.
From the courts to the field, Texas has dominated the nation.
Texas is going to the Final Four. The Texas women are headed for the Final Four.
1300 The Zone, the home of the Texas Longhorns. Hook 'em. Our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One, is back in Vegas.
T-Mobile Arena.
Streaming live only on Hulu. A weekend full of superstar performances. And keep listening for the next chance to win your way there.
Capital One is the proud presenting partner of iHeartRadio Music Festival, bringing great products, rewards, and services to its customers. What's in your wallet?
I love me some Tony C's Pizza and Beer Garden. They do fantastic New York-style pizza and authentic Italian cuisine. Linda and I like to go out to the Del Diamond location where I enjoyed a great meal on 2 for Tuesday. That's where you get to enjoy 2 pizzas for the price of 1. Had to have my personal favorite, the Primo, which is pepperoni, Italian sausage, roasted red peppers, sauteed mushrooms, caramelized onions, and black olives. But they also have a pizza of the month. And this month, it's the Hawaii 5-0. Prosciutto, fresh mozzarella, pineapple, pizza sauce, Calabrian peppers, and fresh oregano. It is a great pizza and a great place to enjoy pizza. Tony C's features 3 to 6 Monday through Friday with $2 off 22-ounce drafts, frosé, bellinis, and wine by the glass. And don't forget about Pitcher Perfect Thursdays with half off pitchers of beer every day. In Kyle at Kohler's Crossing, Round Rock in front of Del Diamond, and Anderson Lane at Shoal Creek. It's Tony C's Pizza and Beer Garden.
After 48 years, Factory Mattress is going out of business forever. Over $15 million worth of world-class mattress brands must be sold immediately. Up to 80% off at Austin and San Antonio's largest independent mattress retailer. Everything must go, right down to the bare walls. Tempur-Pedic, Sealy, and Stearns & Foster. No interest financing is still available. The Factory Mattress going out of business sale is happening now at all 14 locations. Don't miss it.
iHeart presents
The police coming straight from the underground.
Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
Am I ever? Then a natural born killer.
You know how we do. Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude.
He told hip hop, homies got shot.
Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a lawyer, but getting some guy who just watches courtroom dramas.
Guilty, erroneous, sustained.
Are you just saying random words?
Don't settle for just any insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Save big during Labor Day at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select major appliances. Plus, buy more to get up to an additional 20% off. Shop even more savings with 3 Stay Green 1 cubic foot vegetable and flower garden soil bags for $10. This Labor Day, take care of your home for less at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 9/3. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
It's time to warm up that scoreboard and get ready to bring home the win with Specs. Specs has you covered with lower prices on all your favorite fan fuel. From craft beer, rare spirits, and world-class wine to chips, dips, and gourmet finer foods. And with same-day delivery when you order online or through the app, Specs is your MVP for the biggest score of the game. At Specs, the fun starts here.
Here's to you, cheers to savings.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, your home for the Horns. We're back. It's the Craig Way Show with Hall of Fame broadcaster and voice of the Texas Longhorns, Craig Way.
You have to forgive me if I'm grooving a little bit here. I know many of you are as well. The great Hall & Oates. She's gone. Yeah. It also has one of the, I think one of the all-time great lines in it. And it's when they talking about, and I know my wife really likes this line too, but I know a lot of people that do, including myself. I need a drink and a quick decision. Haven't we all been there? I need a drink and a quick decision on something. All right. In talking Longhorns football and getting ready for this matchup with the Ohio State Buckeyes, a lot has been said about the newness on both sides. New starting quarterbacks, largely new starting offensive line for Texas, even though the guys have a lot of experience. Same thing with the Ohio State defensive front. One of the proven, known returning commodities, however, for the Longhorns is their junior running back from DeSoto, Tre Wisner. And Trey sat down with our Will Matthews.
All right, Mr. Wisner. First of all, I walked over and I saw you, and I was like, this guy has put on a couple of LBs.
Yeah.
Talk me through your process in the offseason. How have you beefed up like this?
You probably, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I had to cut back on a little McDonald's. McDonald's was
it's delicious, man.
Yeah, you know, so I definitely have to. I just really what it was. I like I told you, I moved mom up, so she's cooking more often. And really, I just have to lock in, you know, like me wanting to make this my last year and things of that nature, and just seeing that the process is processing. So, you know, you got to start cutting back on certain things that's stopping your process. Not saying McDonald's was stopping my process, but it might have caused a soft tissue injury, or, you know, me to be off my weight how I want to be. So definitely just locking down on my diet, I'm going to say, because the weight room, things of that nature was never a problem for me. It was my eating habits. So yeah, definitely that.
And you were just talking about the process. Talk people through the process for you. I know that's been a theme ever since I've got to know you over the last couple of years. You've been really focused on what you need to do on and off the field, and have called it the process. Tell us what that means.
So for me, I just feel like the process is essentially it's more than my goals and aspirations. You know, you can set your goals and you can achieve your goals, but the process never ends.
Yeah.
Like the process goes when you pass, you know. I want to pass my process down to my children and their children. So I feel like the process is the generational wealth side of things. But yeah, so I feel like that's how I break my process down. It's deeper than me just waking up in the morning, saying my prayers, coming to practice, leaving, going home. It's deeper than all that, because those are my dreams and goals. So besides that, that's my process.
And as you continually develop, refine this process, talk us through, like, this is like, you saw the last game, you were in the last game. There's stuff to do. There's a name to be made for yourself again as you're walking into game week one, getting ready for the opponent. Doesn't matter the opponent.
Yeah.
But getting ready for this opponent, what does that process do for you, and how does that keep you focused?
Just going back and rekindling with my family. I feel like a lot of times athletes who are in my shoes, we tend to get so caught up in, oh, I got a big game coming, or next week I got another big game, and we don't rekindle with the things that keeps us at ease and keeps our minds at peace. Me and my family, we big on God. We big on the spirit. So anytime I can hit my mom up and get a word, I'm doing that. My little brother stays with me. So anytime I go home and I can see that he's off, we'll chop it up, you know, and try to just lift each other up, because at the end of the day, they are my foundation. You know, like my family is It's everything within me. So as far as I'm going, they coming with me. So, it's like no matter what I do, how I do it, when I do it, my family's always in mind. They always a call away. And really that's what trickles my process upward. Anytime I can feel myself trickling down, I know it's because me and my family ain't as tapped in as we supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? So as far as that, definitely my family.
Making the main thing.
Definitely.
And as you continue that and bring it into this week, it can feel as if there may be y'all have something to prove.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've been chewing on what happened at the end of the season all of this time. Talk us through that. What do you want to bring to the team this weekend?
I just felt like last year, my sophomore season was the first year that I've actually been in a fight. Freshman year, I was a special teams All-American, you could say. So I had an idea of what it took at the collegiate level, but not as far as taking as many reps at running back. So really what I took from last year was, specifically the last game, what I took from that was no matter what, be who I am. I feel like last year in the last game, I kind of like let my doubts tear me down. Not as so much as a player, because I feel like I still contribute well. But when your mental side is lower, your physical side drops also. So now I'm on the field and I got a million thoughts going through my head that's not really adding up with my physical attributes. So now I can't really run how I want to run because I got so much going on. So from that last game, I definitely say this year coming in to any week, I need to be more mentally tapped in, more mentally prepared for anything. Not just a bad snap or a drop pass or a fumble. I need to be prepared for, okay, I just scored a touchdown. How do I mentally prepare myself for the next drive? Or how do I mentally prepare myself for the fourth quarter? So I definitely say my mental state, I got to improve some more in that aspect.
Yeah, that's a guy who's constantly striving to be better. And that's why when Sark was asked at the news conference the other day about who is really that go-to guy that really fires up the offense just as Anthony Hill does with defense, he said there's several guys, but he started with Tre Wisner, and it makes sense. We have more coming up. We'll continue here on Sports Radio AM 13 Under the Zone.
If you need up to $5,000, go to WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com is the name you can trust. It's free to use, available 24/7, and you're never required to accept any loan offer. Some lenders offer same-day funding. If you need up to $5,000, type WeFixMoney.com directly into your browser. WeFixMoney.com has been helping customers for 15 years and has an A rating with a Better Business Bureau. So if you need cash for credit card bills, car repairs, child care, or anything else, go to WeFixMoney.com. Make sure you type WeFixMoney.com directly in your browser. Go to the company you trust. WeFixMoney.com. Just fill in the information and get an answer in minutes at WeFixMoney.com for up to $5,000. Go to WeFixMoney.com. That's WeFixMoney.com. WeFixMoney.com.
This sandwich, it's a complete game changer. Hello, this is Mike, and a little thing I love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club is that juicy chicken with that toasty pretzel bun. That bun, it's crispy, cozy, just amazing. With the pretzel bun, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken, it makes that sweet, savory kind of combination. It's everything that you love about food rolled into one. It looks phenomenal. It tastes great. It's delicious.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonial.
Hey, it's Cam, inviting you to join me for the Longhorns football game this Saturday starting at 11 a.m. The Zone will be at Plucker's Wing Bar, 3909 South Lamar, starting at 11 a.m. for kickoff against Ohio State. Come join us for the fun, food, and fans.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Would you drive 10 minutes for $500?
That's the distance from CarMax to Henna Chevrolet. And Henna guarantees you $500 more than any CarMax offer for your vehicle. Just show Henna your written CarMax appraisal offer within 7 days, and you'll get $500,000 more guaranteed. Is your time worth $50 a minute? It is at Henna. Come get your money at Henna.com.
Henna Chevrolet, we'll always stand by you.
Together, let's drive.
Hey, Texas football fans, Mike Harge here, and we're in for an exciting season. Thomas J. Henry Law is thrilled to be part of the action with Texas football game broadcasts. The athletes give it their all on the field, and Thomas J. Henry and over 250 attorneys give it their all when it comes to helping you and your family get the justice you deserve. Whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, dedication, strategy, and teamwork are crucial. For over 30 years, Thomas J. Henry Law has been committed to securing meaningful results for injured people and their families. After all, their law firm will be nothing without the communities and the individuals they serve. Visit tjhlaw.com to find out more. If you or a loved one have been injured, their attorneys are available 24/7 to help. They have a reputation and resources to handle any case. Free consultations with no fees collected unless they win for you. Let's get into the Texas football action this season, sponsored by Thomas J. Henry Law. On and off the field, it's all about the win.
AM 1300 The Zone occasionally holds contests. For more information about contests on this station, go to am1300thezone.com/rules.
I'm Dan. He's Ty.
Hello.
And we're the Solid Verbal College Football Podcast.
Tune in for previews, recaps, bits you won't hear anywhere else, and all the emotional support you need as a college football fan.
Join us all season long as we ride the roller coaster of this ridiculous sport.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search the Solid Verbal College Football Podcast, and listen now.
We don't just love college football, Ty. We live it.
Find your iHeartRadio everywhere. There are hundreds of ways to experience iHeartRadio at home and on the go, beyond the iPhone and Android app and at iHeartRadio.com. Here's another way to connect to iHeartRadio. If you've got a Roku TV, then you've got iHeartRadio right there in your living room or bedroom. iHeartRadio is available on every Roku TV, Roku smart soundbar speaker, or Roku players. And with Roku's voice search, you can easily access your favorite artists or radio stations with simple voice request. Your iHeartRadio music, radio stations, and podcasts now on your big screen TV with Roku. Check it out for free now. iHeartRadio. Anywhere you want to listen, iHeartRadio is there.
Harge and Henry, the morning kickoff, tomorrow at 7. Back to the Craig Way Show. Connect with Craig through the text line by texting ZONE to 81530, followed by your message. Standard message and data rates may apply.
Yeah, just as James Ingram's hit, Yamo be there up in Columbus, Ohio for the Saturday morning kickoff to the season opener as Texas will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Again, our coverage will begin at 8 a.m. And that'll start with Longhorns Game Day coming your way beginning at 8 a.m. And then the kickoff is the network pregame at 10, and the kickoff is at 11 o'clock. When you were a student, Jake, at the University of Texas, what was your normal routine on a Saturday football Longhorns game day, home and road?
I was there early, especially at home. And here's why. You had to show up both when the gates opened and with your group to get the wristbands for the same section. So we were outside the gates ready to go when they opened the games. Remember that old LSU stampede?
Yeah.
That's when they sort of changed the policy around.
Because the students just kind of trampled their way through is what I was told.
Yeah. And so from there, they had to go to the wristband policy. But on the road, shoot, I had to be somewhere with sound. I as a play-by-play junkie myself, I always like to hear the sound of the game. So I don't care if it was the most fun scene in Austin. If it didn't have sound, I probably wasn't too happy of a camper.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so How large was your quote-unquote group?
I had a good group of 5 or 6 guys. The 5 guys that I lived with, especially my junior and senior year, we would try to watch the games together. That group would grow as some significant others came into the picture.
Yeah. All right. So I get that. Okay. So, so your whole group had to be that. How early would you get? Let's say it's an 11 a.m. kickoff, like the home opener will be next week against San Jose State. So 11 a.m. kickoff. How far in advance were you and your group outside DKR at the student entrance?
I don't remember if we had any real marquee games at 11 a.m. when I was a student there. And of course, so that was my freshman year was...
Were you still there when Alabama came through?
No, that was the first year after I was gone.
Okay.
So my freshman year was the Sugar Bowl win.
Right.
Sam Ehlinger, Tom Herman, Bevo going after Uga.
Yeah.
So,
right.
But say for an 11 a.m. conference game, I'm probably walking from West Campus just after 9.
Okay.
And there were things to do down there sometimes. When College Game Day was in town, I went there, went to the little Heisman House pop-up, saw some of the live music. I like to be down there early. That's how I am with most things.
Okay. All right.
I was the guy dragging everybody. We're going to be there too early. No such thing.
All right. Did you go on the road much to road games?
I went to the Big 12 championship game at Jerry World.
The one in 18 against Oklahoma?
Yes.
Okay.
But the kickoff return called back.
Yeah. Did you I was trying to think if were you at the Notre Dame season opener on Sunday night, Labor Day weekend in 16?
No. I would have been in high school.
That predated you.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. What was the wildest thing you ever saw at a Longhorn football game from like fans or the situation? What was the wildest scene you ever encountered?
I think this is not a wild scene, but just one of those moments you can't make up. After Keontae Ingram's drop in the end zone first half against LSU when they went for it on 4th down.
Yeah.
Tight shot of me on the Jumbotron, surrender Cobra.
Really?
And it actually cheered me up because I couldn't believe the absurdity of the moment.
Yeah.
Wildest scene had to be that stampede, that LSU stampede.
Yeah.
Oh man. We started aiming for one section and ended up in the part of the student section kind of in that opposite corner near the north end zone.
Right.
And we were next to a large LSU section. So that whole game was just a lot of chirping.
I can imagine. All right. Yeah, there'll be a lot of chirping and a lot of excitement, obviously, in Ohio Stadium on Saturday when Texas plays Ohio State there for the first time in 20 years. We'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 on 13 Under the Zone.
It's the morning kickoff.
You always ask me, hey, you think you can hit? I could hit. I just ain't running. You know what I'm saying? Business guy asked me the other day. He said, hey, man, you think you can still dunk? I said, yeah, I can jump up there, but I won't be able to come down. Y'all going to need a ladder and the fire rescue people while they put the big net under the ground. Man, if I came down, both knees going.
Weekdays at 7.
With over 30 years of experience, DJC Law is not just any lawyer. They're your neighbors. We're talking about real people who live and work in your community. They go to the same restaurants, cheer at the same games. And when someone's hurt, they show up because that's what good neighbors do. The Austin community is woven into who they are as a law firm, and they take all the problems that an accident brings and treats it as though it's happening to their family. DJC Law will help you navigate the legal process, making sure you understand all of your legal obligations. Want to know more? If you were seriously injured by the negligence of another, call Dan Christensen at 512-888-9999. They're available 24/7, 365. They'll even come to your home or in the hospital via Zoom or by the telephone. With 30-plus years of experience, they've recovered more than $400 million in settlements and verdicts on behalf of their clients. 512-888-9999. That's 512-888-9999.
iHeart presents
The police coming straight from the underground.
Ice Cube, bringing truth to power.
Am I iller? Then a natural born killer.
You know how we
Featuring 4 decades of attitude, a musical production like he's never done before. Taking the stage at Moody Center, October 16th. Ice Cube, Truth to Power Tour. 4 decades of attitude. Before hip-hop, homies got shot. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
And Doug. Limu and I always tell you to customize your car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. But now, we want you to feel it. Cue the emu music, Limu.
Save yourself money today. Increase your wealth. Customize and save, we say.
That may have been too much feeling.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.
Law and Order Criminal Justice System is back. In Season 2, we're turning our focus to a threat that hides in plain sight.
There's been a bombing at the TWA terminal. Just a chaotic scene.
That's harder to predict and even harder to stop.
That's why terrorism works. It doesn't care who you are.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Law and Order Criminal Justice System, and start listening now.
Ugh. Kitchen ants, runaway roaches, a spider. Relax. Just use Zevo. Zevo insect killer sprays use a powerful blend of mint and rosemary to eliminate those pests and up to 20 other bug types. Plus, Zevo is safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Just spray the bugs and wipe them away. Zevo, people friendly, bug deadly.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
N20628.
Here's a great deal from Abacus Plumbing. Get a water heater flush or a mainline drain cleaning for only $49 each. That's a professional water heater flush or a mainline drain cleaning for only $49. Abacus. You can count on us.
When it comes to getting a new car, nobody treats you better than Apple Leasing. Their number is 346-9977. Their website is appleleasing.com. Trust me, it is easy. You can do it with a phone call. That's 346-9977. If it's time to trade in the car that you're driving and to get into something brand new with all the bells and whistles, all the latest and greatest technology, and have your payment be less than if you were to buy that exact same car, yeah, it's time. Call Apple Leasing. The number again, 346-9977. Maybe you need a bigger car. Maybe you need a smaller car. Maybe you just need a new one. You're tired of worrying that the one that you're driving is going to break down on you and you're going to get buried in repair bills. Call Apple Leasing today. Get a brand new under warranty car. If you're in a lease, they'll help you out of that lease and into a new one. Call Apple Leasing today.
Sports Radio 1300 The Zone, covering the 40 acres.
A few notes before we wrap up the second hour of the program. First of all, from the text line, going back to that NFC East Division rival stuff, it's really interesting to hear a lot of folks' takes on this because, as we mentioned at the top of the program, Cameron was mentioning how, the team he disliked the most out of the NFC East was the Giants because that's when they had their rise in the early 2000s and winning the 2 Super Bowls, and Eli Manning personally becoming a nightmare to the Cowboys and Cowboys fans. Jake has pointed out, as a Washington fan, the team he disliked the most was Philadelphia. A lot of Cowboy fans would agree with him on that. And the Eagles' dispatching of the Commanders in the NFC Championship game would attest to that. We had somebody text in, and he said he was old school at age 58. And he can remember being unhappy whenever the Cowboys had to play the St. Louis Cardinals and really even the Arizona Cardinals when they moved out to Phoenix, and because they had problems. Well, watching that Cowboys documentary and Jerry Jones and all that stuff, a lot of folks may have forgotten that Emmitt Smith pretty much ended his playing career as an Arizona Cardinal. He played his last 2 seasons there, but he did come back to Dallas to sign a one-day contract to retire as a Cowboy, as symbolic as a lot of those things are. And then that somebody else pointed out, it doesn't really matter, which NFC East opponent you disliked. Back in the day, said they always made the Cowboys wear the bad luck blue jerseys at their stadiums. And it's hard to pinpoint the exact time when that really happened. There are many who feel that Washington did it in the late 70s when the rivalry was still hot. It was certainly pointed out when the Eagles beat the Cowboys in the 1980 NFC Championship game. The Cowboys were wearing the blue. And then it happened again in 82 when Washington beat them. But remember, in 81, the year before, the Cowboys wore the white. The thing was, they ran into Dwight Clark and Joe Montana in San Francisco with the catch. So that's why that became the way that it did. And everybody started talking about the blue jersey jinx the year after that again. So depends on your perspective and what you're looking forward to. All right. One more hour of the program to go. And coming up in this final hour, we're going to hear from Arch Manning, the Longhorns quarterback, and kind of hear that relaxed, easygoing nature that Arch has about him, even when it comes to dealing with the assembled large throng of media. And they were all there on Monday. And also, for that, Ethan Burke, Longhorns defensive end as well. So you'll hear those conversations coming up here in this final hour of the program. Glad to have you with us. It's a Yacht Rock Wednesday afternoon. Hope you're getting over the hill and downhill to the weekend. Second hour, final hour of the program coming up on 1300 The Zone.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Germania Insurance Amphitheater.